Tom Brady's comments about Patrick Mahomes have ignited a firestorm across the NFL. After Brady publicly suggested that scrambling quarterbacks should receive less protection, Mahomes' response immediately fueled debate among fans and analysts. What started as a disagreement over officiating has quickly turned into one of the most talked about controversies in football. Now, many are wondering whether this growing war of words is only the beginning, and if tensions between two of the biggest names in NFL history could escalate even further in the months ahead. During a playoff game against the Houston Texans star defensive end Will Anderson Jr. was flagged for roughing the passer after hitting Mahomes up toward the head area while throwing a pass. Then, in the third quarter, Mahomes was scrambling and as he slid, was hit by two Texans defenders near the head area as he was going down. The flags flew, the crowd erupted, and almost immediately, the internet split in two. Texans linebacker Henry To'oTo'o was flagged for unnecessary roughness on the play. Then there was another play in the fourth quarter, one where Mahomes seemed to embellish contact along the sidelines in hopes of generating another flag, but the referees did not bite. That moment, that one sideline shimmy, became the match that lit the entire fire. Mahomes, to his credit, addressed it directly. I would say the only one I felt like I probably did too much was the one on the sideline where I didn't get the flag. Mahomes told 96.5 The Fan. The ref saw it and it didn't get a flag. I understood it immediately and know that I probably shouldn't have done that. It was an admission, a rare public explicit one from Mahomes, but the sports world was already spinning. Pundits piled on. Social media did what social media does, clipped it, looped it, amplified it. The question that had been simmering for years about whether Mahomes received preferential treatment from officials suddenly had what felt like a confession attached to it. But here's where it gets interesting. One of the loudest voices to enter that conversation was not a current player or a beat reporter. It was Tom Brady. Brady, 47, finally gave his thoughts on the officiating calls regarding Mahomes. He believes it should be up to the quarterback to protect himself, not the refs. After all his years as quarterback for the New England Patriots and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Brady knows a thing or two about quarterbacking and getting rocked. When quarterbacks become running backs and they're out of the pocket, they should lose their protection, Brady told Fox Sports The Herd. Brady pushed further, "We're trying to protect the quarterbacks, but coaches are calling more quarterback runs than ever in the history of the game. So who is protecting the quarterback? We're trying to say the referees should do it," he kept going. The reality for me is offensive players need to protect themselves. If they're running full speed and the defender's coming up, the only way to turn the ball over is to create force. You're not going to blow on the football and knock it out of a running back's hands or a quarterback's hands. You've got to go there with force and knock it out. You're trying to create turnovers. You're trying to disrupt the passer. You're trying to dislodge the ball. The only way to do that is with force. There needs to be an aggressiveness to doing that. Brady did not say Mahomes' name. He did not have to. Everyone in the building understood exactly who he was talking about, because the Mahomes flopping controversy was the dominant NFL story of that week. And Brady's comments, delivered with precision and calm authority, landed like a heat-seeking missile. Mahomes felt them, and while Brady was measured, the framing of his words carried a verdict. If you leave the pocket, you made that choice yourself. Brady said that defenders playing scared of being penalized is a disservice to the game. If you don't want to get hit, you can go down. You can run out of bounds, Brady said. So now we had Mahomes publicly admitting to embellishing contact, and Brady publicly signaling that scrambling quarterbacks should lose their protection. Two narratives, two names, one collision point, and around this same time, the Chiefs had just beaten the Texans and were marching towards Super Bowl licks in New Orleans, carrying this cloud of controversy directly into the biggest game of the season. There is something almost cinematic about what happened on February 9th, 2025. With the quarterback widely considered the greatest of all time watching from the Fox broadcast booth, Kansas City's Patrick Mahomes had the opportunity to accomplish a feat not even Tom Brady could boast, a three-peat. Something no team had ever done in the Super Bowl era. And Brady was literally the man in the booth calling the game, watching Mahomes either cement his legacy or crumble under the weight of expectations Brady himself had set decades before. It was crumble. Mahomes fell well short of greatness, committing 3 turnovers, 2 interceptions, and 1 lost fumble in the Chiefs' 40-22 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles, only finding success through the air when the game was well out of reach in the fourth quarter. In the first half, Mahomes was historically bad. He completed just 6 of 14 passes for 33 yards, with 1 interception returned for a touchdown. and a second which gave the Eagles short field position, allowing them to take a 24-0 lead into halftime. Mahomes' 236 yards per attempt in the first half threatened Kerry Collins' record for the worst yards per attempt of all time in Super Bowl history, for quarterbacks with a minimum of 15 passes. That stat alone deserves a full stop. This was supposed to be the game where Mahomes stepped out of Brady's shadow, and instead he was flirting with the worst statistical first half in Super Bowl history. That Brady was on the call was perfectly fitting, since he had now been in the building for two separate Super Bowl blowouts involving Mahomes. Inside the Superdome, Mahomes appeared as vulnerable on a big stage as he had since the 2020 Super Bowl, coincidentally against Brady in Tampa Bay. In that game, Tampa had allowed Mahomes little time to process its defensive scheme, pressuring him on 16 of his 46 dropbacks, using 4 pass rushers. 4 years later, Philadelphia followed a similar blueprint for success, sacking Mahomes a career-high 6 times. It was basically the same blueprint we had in Tampa. Rob Gronkowski said following the game, "The Bucs rushed 4, the Eagles rushed 4. They got pressure home, and Mahomes and Reed had 0 answers." That was twice now it had happened. Brady had lost like that too, against the Giants twice, when they rolled out a 4-man rush that dismantled the Patriots' offense. But things never got that ugly for Brady. And if they did, Brady engineered a way to come back. Mahomes couldn't, for the second time in his career. Here is what makes this moment so layered. Before the game even kicked off, Mahomes and Brady had sat together for a pre-game conversation. Mahomes had told Brady that he was seeking to achieve greatness ahead of Super Bowl licks, where a victory would have made the Kansas City Chiefs the first team to win 3 consecutive Super Bowl titles. In that same conversation, Mahomes revealed something that would echo through the entire offseason. "I want to just continue to get better and better from within the pocket." Mahomes told Brady, "I feel like in people's minds right now that they're like, you can do it in the pocket, but if we had a choice, we'd rather him be in the pocket and make throws from there. I think it kind of restricts what I can do as far as a quarterback, not being able to just surgically basically dominate the game from just within the pocket. All that other stuff's cool, and it's fun, and I want to be able to continue to do that as long as possible. I'll stay in the best shape I possibly can, but if I can just be more deadly from within the pocket than outside the pocket, I think that'll take my game to the next level." He wanted to be a pocket passer. He said it directly to Brady, and then hours later, the Eagles' pass rush turned that pocket into a pressure cooker, and Mahomes had no answer. Anytime you lose the Super Bowl, it's just the worst feeling in the world. It'll stick with you for the rest of your career. "These will be the losses that motivate me to be better," Mahomes said after the game. Chiefs receiver DeAndre Hopkins had his own take on it. "He's a human being, man, and I guess the world got to see that." The loss did nothing to discount what put Mahomes in the conversation in the first place. His 3 Super Bowl titles, all after trailing by 10 points, and a Brady-like unflappability in clutch moments. But the GOAT debate, which had been heating to a boil, was put back on ice, and Brady from his broadcast booth had watched the whole thing unfold in real time. If the Super Bowl loss was the wound, what followed in the 2025 regular season was the salt. Legendary NFL quarterback and current Fox Sports color analyst Tom Brady revealed his newest top 10 following Week 11 of the 2025 season. On the surface, that sounds routine, but Brady's power rankings had become a platform, a pulpit really, where the 7-time Super Bowl champion could shape the NFL's narrative week to week, and that is exactly what he did. By the time Week 11 rolled around, the Kansas City Chiefs were in serious trouble. Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs' performance in their loss to the Denver Broncos had drawn a contentious reaction from Brady. The Chiefs suffered their second straight loss in Week 11, falling to their divisional rivals, 22-19. The Broncos were one of the hottest teams in the league, marking their 8th straight win on Sunday to improve to 9-2. The Chiefs, on the other hand, were 5-5 and needed to fight for a playoff spot. So Brady's power rankings that week put the Chiefs at number 10. And the reaction was immediate. "I think I'm about to release my most controversial power rankings to date." Brady said, "I already know this is going to start some conversations in the comments." That self-aware teasing was classic Brady. He knew exactly what he was doing. The 7-time Super Bowl champion rewarded the Philadelphia Eagles, the same team that had dismantled Mahomes in the Super Bowl, with the no one spot in his rankings, with the Los Angeles Rams, Denver Broncos, New England Patriots, and Buffalo Bills rounding out the top 5. Philadelphia received points in Brady's book for finding a way to win, while he pointed a spotlight on Denver's defense, saying it had the potential to be an all-time unit, following the Broncos' 22-19 win over Kansas City. That contest handed Mahomes and the Chiefs their 5th loss of the season. But Brady remained high on Kansas City. Despite sitting at 500, Brady had the Chiefs in the top 10 of what he called a controversial ranking. He justified it with a mental image that has since lived rent-free in NFL Twitter's mind. If you're going to comment about the Chiefs being in the top 10, I want you to do something real quick. Close your eyes and visualize. Brady said, "It's January, it's cold out. Patrick Mahomes has the ball with 5 minutes left." How do you think that story is going to end? They're just a cheat code for power rankings. If we're being honest, you're lucky they're not higher. There it was. Brady simultaneously defending Mahomes' legacy and also planting a flag over it. The message between the lines was clear. I respect what Mahomes can do, but he is operating in a space I defined. Brady had the audacity of a man who had already won 7 of those cold January nights, and the internet caught every syllable of it. Many believe the Chiefs had replaced Brady's New England Patriots as the NFL's newest dynasty team, and several fans relished their loss on Sunday of the Super Bowl. Prior to that game, Brady had wanted to know what Mahomes' experience had been like as the player fans root against. Mahomes' reply was striking. "I have so much more appreciation for what y'all did now, because I was someone that was like, man, why do they win every single year? I want the Cowboys to win." Mahomes told Brady, "But I think it's brought us closer together as a team. It's like if you're not in Chiefs Kingdom, it's like everyone's rooting against you." This was Mahomes putting himself in Brady's shoes, acknowledging the weight of dynasty, the loneliness of being the villain. Mahomes and the Chiefs had spent the season playing with fire, winning 17 games through the playoffs, with 12 of them being one-score games, a whole host of comeback wins, and it felt Patriots-like. The comparison kept circling back, no matter how either man tried to avoid it. Since Mahomes became the starter, the Chiefs had more Super Bowl titles, more conference championships, and the same number of conference championship game appearances as the next 4 winningest NFL teams combined. Brady's shadow, however, remained enormous. Those on the Brady side of the GOAT debate often highlight the 2 postseason matchups between Brady and Mahomes. First, a 37-31 overtime loss for the Chiefs in the 2018 AFC Championship, and then the 31-9 drubbing of the Chiefs by the Bucs in Super Bowl LV. Brady is 2-0 and Mahomes is 0-2 in head-to-head matchups. Forever, since the 47-year-old is now retired. And then the season came apart at the seams. The 2025 NFL season had already been a bruising experience for Mahomes and the Chiefs before December arrived. Since losing in Super Bowl licks, the Chiefs had not stood up the way they had in the past. That much was clear week after week. The machine that had produced 3 Super Bowl titles in 6 seasons appeared to be sputtering. The Kansas City Chiefs' decade-long run of playoff appearances came to an abrupt end in Week 15. The Chiefs fell short at Arrowhead Stadium in a game against the Los Angeles Chargers. Superstar quarterback Mahomes sustained a season-ending ACL injury when he scrambled to try to pick up some yards in the game's final minutes. The injury to Mahomes occurred in the waning moments of Kansas City's 16-13 defeat, which ended the team's run of 10 straight playoff berths and left the once mighty dynasty with plenty of questions to answer in the coming offseason. Mahomes had previously missed just 4 games due to injury in a career that had never seen a season ended before the AFC Championship game. He underwent surgery the following Monday night in Dallas, with a quick turnaround providing optimism that he could play early in 2026. Surgeons confirmed the injury was fixable, and there was no artery damage, nerve damage, joint surface damage, or meniscal damage. In a message posted to social media after sustaining the injury, Mahomes thanked fans and said he would put his trust in God. He wrote, "Don't know why this had to happen, and not going to lie, it hurts. But all we can do now is trust in God and attack every single day over and over again. Thank you, Chiefs Kingdom, for always supporting me and for everyone who has reached out and sent prayers. I will be back stronger than ever." With the Kansas City Chiefs failing to qualify this year, marked the first postseason without Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, or Peyton Manning since the 1998 campaign. The magnitude of that fact tells you everything about how long the NFL had been propped up by one generational talent after another. And now the torchbearer for this era was sitting out, watching from a rehab facility. And here's where Brady's name re-entered the story. Not as an adversary this time, but as a reference point. The Chiefs were given the same treatment as the 2009 New England Patriots. The leading storyline in the run-up to that season was Tom Brady's expected return from his own torn left ACL injury. With Brady back on the field, the Patriots opened the 2009 season at home on Monday Night Football against the Bills, a game they won. The parallel was not lost on anyone paying attention. Brady had torn his ACL in the 2008 season opener and came roaring back in 2009, hungry and motivated. Now, decades later, Mahomes was staring down the exact same road. While Mahomes had dealt with injuries and briefly missed time earlier in his career, this was easily the most serious injury he had faced since entering the NFL. He was the latest quarterback working to return from an ACL tear and would look to have the successful comeback that others such as Joe Burrow and Tom Brady had. Travis Kelce reportedly would contemplate retirement and get married to Taylor Swift. Andy Reid would turn 68 years old, and the Chiefs currently had a projected negative $35.5 million in cap space, 31st in the NFL. The dynasty's infrastructure was groaning under the weight of years of success. Every pillar of the empire appeared to be shifting at once. Fox Sports' Jay Glazer delivered an encouraging update on Mahomes' recovery schedule, citing that his pain threshold is different. His work ethic is different, Glazer added. So at first they were like, oh, start of the season, I would probably hedge on him being back sooner than that, by far. Because he just attacks things, Mahomes said he had been hitting the checkpoints and goals laid out by his medical team, trying to maximize the process. His doctors had to hold him back from wanting to push his rehab harder, fearing a setback. That detail, doctors holding him back because he is pushing too hard, is exactly the kind of thing that gets turned into a motivational chapter. In a decade-long career retrospective, Mahomes was not accepting this quietly. Even after a disappointing 6-11 season in 2025, the Kansas City Chiefs remained one of the NFL's darlings when it came to the 2026 schedule. Despite missing the playoffs, and with Mahomes rehabbing from a serious left knee injury and tight end Travis Kelce potentially near the end of his illustrious career, the Chiefs were still given plenty of spotlight games for the fall. The NFL put its chips on the table. The league and its several TV partners appeared to be betting that Mahomes, who tore the ACL and LCL in his left knee on December 14th, would be on the field for opening night, a Monday Night Football home game on September 14th against the Denver Broncos, and for the duration of the season. That game against the Broncos is loaded with narrative weight. The same Denver team that handed Mahomes and the Chiefs their 5th loss of 2025, the same team Brady called a potentially all-time defensive unit, will be the first opponent Mahomes sees when he walks back into Arrowhead Stadium under the lights. Mahomes has been going through a vigorous recovery process since the injury, hoping to be back on the field on September 14th when the Chiefs begin their 2026 season at home against the Denver Broncos. Mahomes is set to participate in the Chiefs' OTAs this offseason. Nearly 5 months after going down with a season-ending injury, Mahomes appeared on track to return for OTAs. On Thursday, Mahomes addressed the media and admitted he feels good as he works his way back to full strength. Mahomes says he feels good and has enjoyed being out on the field at practice. He reiterated that the goal is still to be ready for Week 1, but it is all about taking each day at a time in his rehab. Mahomes says rehabilitation on his injured knee is going well and that the goal remains the same, getting back for Week 1 of the 2026 season. It's been going great, Mahomes said. Now this is where the Brady thread pulls everything together. Before the 2026 NFL season began, Green Bay Packers legend Brett Favre delivered his own verdict on the debate. Before the 2026 NFL season started, Favre was asked on his podcast, Fourth and Favre, whether Mahomes would ever catch Brady's 7 Super Bowl rings, and Favre replied with genuine hope. "Well, I certainly think that is possible," Favre said. "And whether it happens or not, I don't think that Patrick is any less of a quarterback. There's still time. Plenty of time for Patrick to not just win a few more Super Bowls and either get close or tie." Brady, meanwhile, had already illustrated exactly how he felt about Mahomes' potential. Not through venom, but through precision. The flopping controversy comments were not an attack. The power rankings defense was not a compliment. Brady was doing what Brady always does, drawing a line in the sand with surgical clarity and letting the numbers speak for themselves. In terms of Super Bowls, Brady appeared in 10 games, throwing for over 3,000 yards with 21 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and winning 7 championships. Mahomes has played in 5 Super Bowls, throwing for over 1,300 yards with 10 touchdowns, with fewer cumulative results simply due to fewer appearances. Brady did not win his 4th Super Bowl championship until he was 37, in Super Bowl licks-alikes in February 2015. That gives Mahomes the next 8 seasons to match that pace. Mahomes is now 3-2 in Super Bowls, including 3 Super Bowl MVPs and 17-4 in the postseason. Mahomes famously took over the role of Chiefs starter in 2018, giving him 7 seasons of work compared to Brady's 22. And Mahomes has said he would like to play as long as Brady did. Looking at the time frame available ahead of Mahomes, if he gets the length of a career that Brady got, Mahomes still has 15 years in hand. He can do anything in the first 10 of those years, up until the age of 40. So here's the real verdict, and it is not one that diminishes either man. The Mahomes loses it moment was not one moment. It was a cascade. The flopping controversy, the Brady comments, the Super Bowl implosion, the ACL. Each one stripped a layer off the bulletproof image Mahomes had spent 8 years constructing. Brady's comments about scrambling quarterbacks losing their protection were not just a philosophical point. They were Brady, sitting at the apex, redefining the standard by which quarterbacks are judged. And the standard was his own career. Mahomes absorbed all of it. The criticism, the skepticism, the comparison, the injury, and now he is back on a practice field, 5 months out of a torn ACL, wearing a brace and throwing passes. While his opening night opponent, the Denver Broncos, sharpened the very defensive unit Brady called potentially all-time. Kirk Herbstreit, the color commentator for Amazon's Prime Video, put the unspoken question directly into words. It's almost as if people have maybe felt that's the end, because of the injury to Mahomes, because of some of the losses that they have had. Is it time for Kansas City's story to be over? The answer to that question will begin to reveal itself on September 14th, 2026. Mahomes walking through that tunnel, standing under those lights, looking at the scoreboard and the crowd and the season ahead of him. That will be his response to everything Brady said, everything the Eagles did, everything the ACL took away. Brady had his own version of this moment back in 2009. He came back and went 10-6 before losing to the Ravens in the playoffs. He did not get his ring back immediately. But the hunger Brady described, the hunger Mahomes has been perfecting in a rehab room since December. That is exactly the fuel that has defined every great quarterback, whoever chased something bigger than themselves. The Mahomes-Brady story is not over. It is not even close to its final chapter. But right now, heading into the 2026 season, the score between them reads, Brady 7, Mahomes 3. And somewhere in a Fox Sports broadcast booth, Brady is watching calm, precise, 7 rings deep, waiting to see if the man chasing him has what it takes to close the gap.